Good evening and welcome to Martial Matt. I almost said FMA discussion. I haven't. You have a very disturbing look on you. Um,
I'm a very disturbed person, my friend.
I know, and this is, but this is the yin and yang between us. I'm centered. You're not.
I'm
I'm
slightly
nice.
off center,
You're not.
and yes, and I'm in Facebook jail as well, as you may have heard. So
No, well, I know now.
yeah,
I find it hard to believe that you would do anything to offend somebody. That they,
it's really strange, actually. It's really strange. I really work on being nice to people.
and it shows. It really does. Yes. I mean, it's so transparent. It just exudes out of you.
I know, I know. It's
So
uh, it was very sad when I heard.
I
But
know.
they're very good with the wording of their emails and stuff. So
Oh, why they're punishing you? Yeah.
yeah,
At least they're
yeah.
thorough and very explicit as far as their rationale
Yeah.
of putting
Well,
you.
apparently the word cocaine is bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you can
No, you
say,
can talk about killing Jews and burning Israel and a whole bunch of other stuff, but God forbid you use the word cocaine.
interesting. But tonight, this is gonna be
Nothing to
great.
do with cocaine, by the way.
Not, we have we have Maya, and I had her on
Yes.
some years back on FMA discussion. The show was well received. I did, for the most part, stay in the FMA lane, and so the focus was on the Visayan system, her time with Sunny and her books, etc. Today, we can go into her Chinese background, certainly touch upon Sunny and the Visayan style and system. But more importantly, what's interesting too, she brought up to talk about, which I think is fantastic, is as you get older, when you're teaching and how you have to adapt, pending your audience and all that. And I think that's something that's extremely relevant. So looking forward to that. So folks, if you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. And there's our mascot. If you've got questions, put them on the right hand side. I will get to them. If they're not within the context of the conversation we're there, I will jot them down just not to interrupt the flow. But without further ado, here is Maya coming up in 3 seconds.
What are you doing?
Uh, hey, how are you?
Hello.
Thank you
I am
for
good, very
jumping.
much.
Thank you
Nice
for
to be
doing
here.
this. You know?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, this is great.
yeah. So you kind of heard the intro. So I guess for folks that maybe didn't see the one FM discussion, or those who live under a rock and don't know who you are, why don't you give us your martial art background?
Martial art background. I did foil fencing as a kid, so I guess I started when I was 9. Um, Not continually. I kind of gave up in the middle there. Then I'm old now, so there's time has passed. I think I first did my first Tai Chi class in 1986, and I thought it was really fascinating. And it was in the UK in a church hall just around the corner from where I lived, and it was winter, I think, so it was like freezing cold. And I remember getting put into some standing position. I suddenly got really hot, and then I was like, this is really interesting. So I got into Chinese martial arts, did Chinese martial arts for a really long time, ended up moving here. I kept training, um, and then I luckily saw video of Sonny Umpard moving one day on an old VHS tape because it was that long ago, and managed to get in accepted as a private student of his because, as people should know, he was incredibly reclusive and it was very hard to get to train with him. So I was very lucky, and I trained with him until he died. And this year will be the 20th anniversary of his death. So
Wow.
since
Okay.
then, I have been trying to work out what I've learned from him. I'm still teaching Bagua Zhang, so that's still carrying on. But yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Why don't you the Bagua? I've always heard about that. I don't claim to know a lot about it. So what does that entail?
You walk around in circles. That honestly, that's the whole system. Like the guy that invented it, you just walk around in circles. It's a very odd martial art. It's another one that's like super misunderstood, I think. But in essence, it's newish in that it was invented in the late 1800s or late 1800s, and the theory was that it was thought of as a machine that you put raw material in one end and then you did this practice, and then whatever you stuck in the front end became better coming out the other side. So they took it like the Bagua machine. So the way I've come to understand it is that there's certain ways of moving that give you body activity, like they're very good ways of connecting what happens in your hands to your feet, or which way your hand is facing will kind of affect your whole body. So it starts moving as like one unit, and then that improves your power, your alignment, your footwork, like all the stuff comes out. So that's what Bagua is. I'm sure everybody is going to disagree with me, but it's a very odd esoteric art.
Do you know
I
much
like
about
it.
Renee? I mean, I've always heard about it, but I hear it's interesting. But I didn't know they went in circles. That's interesting. Okay. Um,
It's practice, yeah, yeah, and the mythology is that, of course, the guy who came up with it got it from the mysterious Taoists in the mountains, who gave him the secret. But the idea is that you walk around a tree, you plant a tree sapling, and you walk around it until it's taller than you are, and that's like the base level of where you start.
so it's an
Obviously, it's sort of
internal,
evolved over the centuries. It's an
internal.
internal art, yeah.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah, so it's one of the three Chinese internals. There's Taiji, there's Xingyi Chuan, and then there's Baguazhang, right? So those are the three sisters, if you think about it. And
Interesting.
if you think there's different ways of putting them together. So in Tai Chi, you're the center, and everything comes towards you, and you kind of make it go round. So you're the center of the circle. Xingyi is kind of like the diameter across the circle, and I mean, kind of straight at you. It's a military art, right? So you're aiming down the battlefield, running at the enemy. And then Bagua, you're moving around the edge. So the center changes. So it's like a much more evasive art. Yeah.
Neat. Neat. Did you find that help when you met and finally got to meet Sonny and trained in his art? Did you find it was helpful, that background?
Yes. Yes. I think that's why I picked up the footwork really fast. And like you were mentioning earlier about this idea about teaching methodology, people over the years have said, how come you picked up his footwork so fast? And I'm like, I think it was the Bagua, right? So then they're like, teach us Bagua. So I've actually started teaching more Bagua to people in recent years because of some of the solo practices that makes you pick up the footwork better, I think, or
Um,
faster or something. It gives you more body awareness, I guess. I don't
How do you
know.
spell that, Maya?
Because if you, Bagua, Bagua, Zhang, Zhang. That's the kind of the classic translative, whatever opinion thing. So as in the hexagrams and the trigrams. So Bagua is a trigram. So it's like 8 trigram palm, or there's other names for it. But Zhang is palm. Twen is fist, so palm. And interestingly, after I trained with Sunny, stuff, I started thinking of Bagua in terms of having a sword art, like sword in your you're doing forms. And what I find interesting, I'm like, it's definitely a sword art from back in the day, because it's so interested about which angle your hand is at, so like where the edge is facing. So there's this interesting crossover that's really fed my Bagua practice, doing the sword, like understanding the sword has really gone back.
so you're saying it
And
was.
telling us is that it was the last thing I was going to say is one of its major uses when it was first invented was for caravan guards
Caravan
protecting
guards.
goods, from bandits.
Oh, okay.
So the reason why the footwork is like it is that there's multiple opponents, right? So the reason why there's a lot of turning and moving is it's ambush and skirmish stuff. It's not me and guys in the army are all going that way because the bad guys are over there. It's a different, feel to it. So that's how it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
used.
yeah. So are you saying so? It was one time this sword art based on the hand positioning you're mentioning, and then from there did it kind of evolve into an internal art?
Um, so it's very difficult to know because internal is a label that gets put on something.
Mm.
Um, so it depends how you want to define internal and external. all you can basically say is that the better you get at something, the less effort you use. So, in a sense, everybody becomes internal. Like you're not using brute force and strength. You're using timing. You're using alignment. You're using all these other things, right? So, if that's your definition of internal, anybody that's super high level, Sonny was really internal. If you freeze frame any video that he's in, his alignments are perfect. Like he's never, off. So he was one of the most internally connected people that I've ever met, but he would never
Interesting.
have described it that way.
But he was never described, or his style described that way. Interesting.
No, not at all.
Renee is saying Dean likes to internalize his anger. What anger?
Wow. Dean's a very angry person.
Oh my gosh. So you continue to teach that, and so you're finding it's helpful for new students to get acclimated to the Visayan footwork by kind of giving some bagua. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think Chinese culture and society made it a lot easier to practice by yourself. Like they created so much solo material, so that you could just be you somewhere out in a field or wherever you were on your, courtyard, and then you could practice by yourself and think about stuff and work out all these alignment things. So there's something about the fact that all these internal arts have these solo practices that are good for you, that help all the other stuff. Like Sunny's stuff, it does have solo practice with a pendulum and things, but it's kind of higher level in effect, and it's much easier if there's always two of you. Like it's sort of a partner based action, so it's difficult to do stuff solo in the same way that boxers use heavy bags, but if you can't see the man in the bag, your heavy bag training isn't going to be as useful. Does that make sense? It's like it's because of the other person that your boxing is going to get better. But if you know
Yeah,
that, then you
no,
can
no,
go back to
yeah,
the bag and practice. Yeah.
and
So
saying
but
Jay and
Bagua has
Greg.
a yeah. So I could spend hours and hours just walking around in circles and doing all these weird things, and my body's just integrating more and more and more. Otherwise, I can't do them. Right. So it's like this. It's the solo part that's really well developed in the Chinese systems.
Just a quick question. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. Is it clockwise or counterclockwise? Like, does it
Both.
matter? Or are
Both.
there different positions or movements that are done clockwise and that are done
No,
counterclockwise?
Bach was one of the most interesting arts in that is completely ambidextrous. And one of the warm up exercises is ways that I found to practice double weapons as far as a skill to be able to integrate so that you have like a mind that can do different things with both hands at the same time. Does that make sense? It's like
Mm-hmm.
they both don't go same or one, I can do more things with one arm or the other and stuff. So even in the sort of the first warm up exercises, it's got these built in practices for like double weapons, which I think is kind of interesting.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, both
You know,
clockwise and anti-clockwise.
yeah, it's funny because when I used to be a real stickler for footwork, and then I just got people just to walk around and hit people instead of just having like structured footwork. And I found that if you just walk like you would if you were in a fight or something, walk or run and not worry about your footwork, it kind of falls into play. So I'm just kind of
Mm-hmm.
curious about that because you'll know if you're off balance because your body will feel off balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're sparring and you're telegraphing because you're dumping weight, or you get backed up and then you're in a bad position and that's where you're getting nailed, then there's ways of practicing to have your better footwork so you don't like run out of angle, as Sonny would say, And so there's ways of refining your footwork, but essentially you can't be thinking about it that much. You just have to know where your weight is and be able to manage that. Right. But
Yeah.
at the beginning, if you think about it too much, it's dumb. It's sort of like, you're not,
Yeah, you start looking at your
doesn't help,
feet.
I don't think.
Actually,
Yeah,
David
yeah, yeah.
Parker asked a good question. I was curious about it as well. Is what kind of weapons
Mm.
do you train with? But are there also limitations to size of weapons?
So the Chinese lost a lot of their weapons usage because of the politics Back in the day, if you were in the late 1800s and you and the boys were out there, helping the caravan of goods over the mountains, you were going to be armed to the teeth with whatever the hell you were going to carry, right? I mean, nobody's going out there empty-handed or just like, something short. You're going to be carrying what you're carrying. But because of evil, came a thing where fighting other Chinese people was not cool. The politics was we're all on the same side. We don't want anybody to have any violence and training, and they shut down all the martial arts. Then they lost a lot of their weapon knowledge. So there's specific Bagua weapons that you'll see, but I think a lot of it is demonstration now. Like they're enhancing your movement as opposed to being real weapons in the sense that they used to be used. I'll say something that is not my point of view, so everybody can go blame my teacher Laudershow for this opinion. But there's one thing, for instance, called the deer horn knives, which are like it's got a handle, and then there's a knife that's like a U shape, and then there's another one that has something coming out of here, right? It's kind of like a weird guard, and then you've got these little kind of horns coming out, and then so it does this. And there's all sorts of theories about why it's like that, whether it's a ritual weapon, whether it's for fighting in water. Like everybody's come up with these ideas about what the hell it was. And my teacher's like, you got to be a bit more pragmatic. Think of it as a fist load, like like brass knuckles with a spike coming out of each side. It's like, oh yeah, well that makes more sense. So you're using this part of the weapon, and this, what I mean? Like it's using the different parts of your hand. So don't get like tied up in what the modern weaponry looks like, because I'm pretty sure that's not exactly the same. They use like a giant sword too. It's like absolutely like kind of joke sized, 2 meter long, massive giant sword, for instance. But your body training gets really good if you use that. It's not necessarily that's a practical weapon.
Oh, just for body mechanics. Okay.
You have to be a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's super long, it's really heavy, it's unbalanced, but if you work with it, it's a little bit like spear training with really, really long spears. You're building the back body and the root by using something that's that long. Though pikes were really long, like 16 feet or something. That some stuff is just to make you stronger and to sort of improve certain parts of your motion. So you've got to be a little bit careful. So I'm no authority on what's real, but you've got to be a little bit careful about what weapons they really use, because I think they just used whatever they had at hand, probably.
Like your teacher said, just being pragmatic about it. We have a question from Baste. How important is free sparring? If important, then how often, what format, what intensity?
Are we looking at Bagua or are we looking at Visayan style?
I'm assuming Bagua. Yeah.
Bagua basically has ways to get to sparring. So a little bit Tai Chi has push hands. The Bagua version is called Sancho, which is called spinning hands. So, and then the rules for that start strict and then they get let go, and then it kind of becomes full sparring. So the beginning thing is you're only allowed to get somebody off balance, like push hands, for instance. And the buttons allows slapping. So you have to get hands and you're slapping people. And then you can add throws and kicks into the system. And, you start out with like a fixed pattern, a little bit like Chisao, right? It's like you're starting with something and then you're working off it. So they also have that kind of interim stage of practice. And then you back off, and then there's free sparring outside that. One of the reasons why the Xingyi guys and the Bagua guys actually became friends was that on these exhibition matches in China, in the late matches, these platform matches they used to have, there were always one Xingyi. So they decided to kind of steal from each other. Basically, they said they became friends, but they were just basically trying to steal each other's knowledge, I think. So there's a whole bunch of crossover that you see, happening a bit during that era, where so that you can see some of the Xingyi ideas creeping into Bagua and vice versa, which is really, really fascinating.
We were borrowing.
We weren't stealing. We're friends. Come train with me. What? Show me what you have. Yeah, exactly.
Here's another question. How much Chinese medicine is taught in the system? Acupuncture, points, energy, flow, and manipulation.
None in my system, in a sense. My teacher's teacher was a Chinese medical doctor in Taiwan. So yes, there's obviously that knowledge in there. I think if you were in the culture, it would all be the same thing. A lot of the practitioners that do Bagua are also acupuncturists, and there's there's a big crossover in the material. But again, you don't want to get too rigid about how you tie things together. What I've noticed, at least over time, is that there's always these very strict rules. Like there's definitely 8 because 8 is auspicious, but then there's these 2 other ones, or this is always true apart from those ones over there. Like you've got to add a little bit of fluff into the system. So even the name Ba Gua Zhang, the 8 Gua, is just a memory device. Originally, it wasn't called that. It was like spinning palm or something like that. Like it had a completely different name. But then they attached Chinese cosmology to the learning so people could remember and it would make sense, right? So we know there's 8 of them. So which were those 8? Does that make sense again? So it's like you've got to again be worried about which came first, the chicken or the egg, and how they actually relate, because it's a whole way of understanding the universe that sometimes is used in one way and sometimes in another.
Okay. What style, Maynard Deskin, what style Bagua are you referencing?
I'm referencing Yizong, Yizong is school, Gao style, which is originally a Qing style. So maybe that doesn't make sense, but the guy who came up with the whole system, Dong Haichuan, had 2 main students, Yin Fu and Cheng Tinghua. Cheng style is one branch, and Yin Fu style, Yin branch, is another one. Then, of course, different generations. So
Okay.
my lineage goes through Cheng, and then it comes down to Gao Yishang, and then one of his students of that generation left the mainland before all the revolution and left for Taiwan. So my style is the style that went to Taiwan through Hong Yishan, and then my teacher Lord Show, and that's my lineage. You can see it if you see. Do you remember that old TV martial arts series, Way of the Warrior, from like the 1980s?
Way of the Warrior.
So there was just 2 brothers that went around Asia and did all these documentaries about martial arts. Look at The
Okay.
Way of the Warrior. It's a 1980s TV series, and they did an episode in Taiwan. They do it on teacher's and and my teacher is actually walking circle as one of his students at the time when that was happening
Ah,
during the mid
okay.
80s. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to have a look.
Yeah, at least I can reference it for sure. Yeah, Turning Palms
Yeah.
is, I guess, what Maynard and also what G.T. Gaye called what the indigenous Filipinos practice. Turning palms.
It's palms are turning. Yes. There's not that many for it, right? I mean, it's all the same. It's all the same. Eventually, a lot of the principles
Yeah.
are going to carry through. Anything that's useful is going to a bit. So
Yeah, Renee, your Boston feels your internal
Yeah,
power.
Olive is out of control today. She's like jumped on the table 3 times.
Uh oh.
She was. I got
Okay.
her out. I just got home. I got her out of the crate, so
Mm.
she's in full on 5 month
Full on,
puppy
man.
mode. Oh yeah, she's like
one of your
I'm
listeners
out.
trained with Law. That's cool. So anyway,
That's,
so one of your listeners knows.
so
Chura
20,
Trinidad.
20 hands, spinning palms. Okay. You got
Yeah.
Brian's hand
So
here. Okay.
yeah, typically you're doing this, you're doing this. So everything's it's all spirals. The idea is spirals.
Spirals.
Did
If you
you
Okay.
really break
did
it
you ever
down, the
share
whole
any of
point
this
is
with
spirals.
Sunny as well? Like, did you ever do any cross training with
Yeah,
Sunny?
we talked about it a lot. Yeah, yeah. He was
Because
fascinated by anything.
I have just a quick question, just because I never got a chance to ask you. So he was teaching privately. Like, how was that to get in with him? Like, did you have to know a guy, or know you for a certain amount of
Yes,
time?
you had to know a guy. You had to know a guy.
You had
The
to
only way to get to
know.
train with him was when he had a space, and you had to be
Brian.
taken physically by the person vouched for you when call was saying and being used. And the person that vouched for you had to vouch for you. Like if you were a dick, it was going to come back on them.
I'll say
So, yeah, so that's how I got.
I trained at a club like that. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he invited me. I have to say that he did invite me. He did invite me at a public seminar,
Nice.
but he said you need to have this guy bring you. So Yeah.
Yeah, I trained with at a club like that. It was kind of cool. Like even when we got our club shirts, the teacher I trained with at the time said, "You can buy this, but you don't own it. And if you act up, I'm taking it away." So I lost a lot of shirts over over some time, but I always just get myself back in. That was
Shocking.
I know.
Sonny was good. I mean, he had a temper. He had a temper, and he didn't suffer fools gladly. But if you were contrite, he was very few people that weren't allowed to come back if you had a kind of an attitude adjustment.
That's why I like Dean. He always allows me to come back, no matter how bad I act. Thanks,
Just
Dean.
glutton for punishment.
That's what happens when you don't change your passwords.
That too.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm telling you. I mean, yeah, glutton for punishment and just too nice, right?
The one thing I'll say about Maya is, like, some of the videos that I've seen her move in, the one thing I really appreciate is how you respect the edge of the blade, like the actual. You watch people doing carenza moving around, and half the time they're passing across their necks and across their bodies. Like, you have a really good understanding of where that knife is in front of you. So it's actually really cool to see. Like, you can definitely see the respect for that weapon.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you noticed. It's
Yeah,
it's
I think
um it's important. I think Sonny was very interesting around swords. He wanted all his training weapons to look as real because he thought that people didn't respect things that definitely didn't seem real. If that makes sense. I've shown you like his training weapon. This is one that he made. Um, and sorry, there's all kinds of tape that are falling off it because it's really ancient now. But this was the first weapon I played with was this. Um, and it was nerve making because he demanded that you had such accuracy that you were aiming for hand hits, but that you wouldn't actually hurt the other person when you touched with the sword. Like if you clashed or crashed or didn't use the right part of the sword, you get into real trouble.
Yeah,
So his demand of accuracy was like,
I find most people today are more happy about tapping their bodies and making sound like they're running out of air and their tires when they're moving than they actually care about where that blade's moving. Like, it just bugs the hell out of me. It's just like that.
yeah,
It's like it's like watching an alley cat.
yeah. I mean, I think it's a little bit. It always reminds me of if you don't know what you're doing and it's just if you this it's the Indiana Jones moment, isn't it?
My
It's
all-time
like the
favorite
guy
is
with the whip.
I forgot what show it was, where the guy's like, "I'm gonna channel Lapu Lapu and I'm gonna move around," and he's like spitting rum around, and he moves around. The first thing he does, he just drives a machete right into his arm. And I
Oh
thought
yes, I saw that. That was really awful. Yes, I remember that.
it was real awful.
And then he's all surprised. Yes, yes. But they're very dangerous. I was really about the. Remember when they made the Beat Takeshi version of Zatoichi? It's like the first fight. One of the guys who comes at him kills his friend. Like the guy next to him because he forgets where the blade is, right? And so I think that idea that the thing is very dangerous to you as much as it is to them, people forget that. They think of it as like magic amulet only kills bad guys. It's like, no, you can totally cut yourself. It's. I think that's part of that mystique. When you're talking about blades having spirits and things, people get very kind of like, I want the blade to be on my side, and not on anybody else's side because it can injure you if you do it wrong. I don't know how many people here have like had their blade out and played with it and it's just cut them.
Yeah.
You get this sort of feeling like it's very amoral object. You know.
I think anything like that, like I see a lot of the stuff when it comes to like even firearms training and whatnot, and firearms training in quotations with some of the stuff I see from some of these martial artists, and it's like, wow, like you're flagging people all over the place. And even like, dare I say, fist fights. I may have accidentally found myself in a riot or two when I was younger, And there's been plenty of times I look up and see one of my friends punching me in the face. So it's like it's yeah. So I definitely when I see some of the people moving around, I just kind of think I just wish they would pay a little bit more attention to what they're actually doing, and what they're using instead of how cool they look.
Yeah, I mean, the when Sonny would get angry because people weren't taking it seriously enough, and I don't mean like being grim, but like not focusing, like they were starting to sort of get a bit too goofy with it. He would bring out the live weapons. He's like, "Okay, you flow with me. This is live. Mine's live. All right, let's flow like randomly," and it's fucking terrifying. You don't want to kill
Mm.
or like cut your teacher. Do you know what I mean? Like that would be like the worst thing on the planet. So that you immediately you're just like, whew, focus, right? Be careful. Where's the hit? Don't make a mistake? Don't make a mistake, because all you need is the little tiny end to, you know, ruin everything. So yeah,
Gahe did that
gotta
at a
be very very
seminar.
careful.
Uh, Gahe did that at a seminar once where he didn't feel like the people were listening to him. So he pulled out a live Gnunting and he basically said, if you guys don't believe this
Hmm.
doesn't work, now's your time to test yourself. And everybody just went like,
Come on, me. Yeah. Yeah.
Instant attention.
oh yeah, it was just like one of
But
those
that's
like,
the thing.
okay,
But it's the thing. I think when there's anything lethal, if somebody pulls out a katana or a sword, like for real, anybody that's smart backs off. Like if you see that, and even if it's like whether it's an idiot or somebody that's good with it, you, everybody mostly makes space, right? If somebody doesn't and they hang out, you're like, okay, you need to train some better, thoughts about this. And the same thing with firearms. People are very good; they will turn away, they'll take it, and, maybe they're examining something. If they're not, it's like, yeah, step back from that thing. It's dangerous. I mean, on some level we know, but we forget too easily, I think.
yeah, that's my objection with using like soft sticks for sparring sometimes, right? Like unless someone's already fought, like especially in the circles that I play with, I usually don't allow soft sticks because it's just they don't take it seriously. It's just like it's a soft stick. It's a pool noodle. I can get hit real hard and I'll survive. I just find when you start going into the live stick area, it changes. It keeps that honesty.
Changes your behavior.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen
Yeah,
people get
I mean,
knocked out with soft
even
sticks,
with the
but
yeah. Sorry, Karen.
no, it's. I was rambling.
No, no, that was totally fine. No, I was just going to say though that even with training with Sunny, even with something, I could still make a hole in somebody with this probably, and I could put it in somebody's eye. Like this could do damage, even like it's completely blunt, right? So you had to be careful. But the amount of people, and it's a very common thing. I could take that hit. I could take that hit. But it's the same thing with a
Mm.
soft stick. It's like, yeah, it doesn't hurt, but that doesn't mean to say that you should act like an idiot. If you can't pretend enough that this is a problem, maybe you need to take a step away for a while. It's like if pain is the only way you can learn, okay, fine, maybe. But it's like at some point you have to be like, don't take those hits. It touched you. You didn't feel it. Because if you
Mm.
can't feel it, especially with the sword, you should be able to feel that and go, I don't want that to happen to me. And
Yeah.
if you don't have the presence of mind to notice, it's like maybe you shouldn't be doing sword work. It's like, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
be able to do it with a live weapon. I'm not going to be able to cut your hand off and go, see, shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't teach somebody like that.
There's a
Mm.
reason I'm a carpenter. I still have all my fingers after 35 years. Is because I pay attention.
Yeah, because you're
It's
careful.
like I'm not gonna
Yeah,
take. I can take
exactly.
a cut. Yeah, I'm gonna take a cut. It's gotta take a little bit off of this piece. So no, it's I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great point.
and it's not to say that, yeah, I mean, it might happen anyway, but don't train to be a dumbass. Train to be careful and train that you do know the difference between it just missing you and it just cutting you, right? It's like, why can't you train that?
Mm.
What amazes me is when people
Like
sit
your
there and go,
sensitivity to range. You see really good boxers, right?
what
Go
amazes
ahead.
me is when I hear someone say, "Well, I'll just take a cut off my arm so I can enter," or "I'll just take a cut off my shoulder or whatever," and I'm sitting there going, "No, you won't." What are you talking about? Like,
What a bizarre statement.
once you start seeing your innards and stuff is going like this, you ain't doing shit.
That's so bizarre. Somebody would actually say that.
Well, so I mean, you could come up with a context where that would be your only option, right? Maybe, right? It's like, I have to get out of here. The bad guys are coming. This guy's in my way, and I need to deal with it. But if you had the choice, why not do it and not get hit, as opposed to do it
Mm.
and take damage if you can?
Wow.
100%. So, are you working
I
on
mean, at
any new
least
books right
train
now?
for it. Like, train for. No, no. The only reason why books come out is when I think there's something that hasn't been said. I'm not very good at rewriting things over and over again that already exist. So each one of them was just like, oh, there's a gap. I should stick something in that. You know, it's like, there they are, the trilogy.
Mm.
But I haven't thought of anything else to say now. I think they're all in this. So I don't know. Maybe there's going to be something that something's going to trigger something, and I'll find something else. But that has to happen.
I think this
It doesn't.
podcast is going to trigger another
I
book
don't
for
feel any
sure.
need.
Yeah,
This
this
What do you think I
podcast
podcast will
should write
trigger
then?
another
I
book
mean, I
for
don't know.
sure.
will trigger.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Dean's episode 355. A lot of people have said
Oh
that
my
is
goodness.
it's just blown people's minds. A lot of people have actually said that it's changed the way they live.
Yes.
I'll send you a link.
Yes.
Okay,
Don't believe
but
it.
yes, probably not. Yeah.
Don't believe anything he
I mean,
said.
I don't know if I've got any other information that isn't in these three books. You know, it's there. You still have to sort of decipher it and work for yourself on all of it,
Mm.
right? That's the hard part, is the work put into it. The words are there, but the words are meaningless unless you put in the work.
Like that. Uh, just where can people grab the books? Are they on Amazon or?
Yeah, they're all on Amazon because they're all self-published.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
you could get Kindle or paperback. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm under no illusions. I'm not, I don't have a background as a special forces, operator. I'm not from some lineage of Filipino royalty or anything. It's like, if I would like Sunny stuff to continue into the future, but not that many people are going to want to train with this. But I can do my books and I can have my experiences put down to share with other people that will exist
It,
forwards.
it's funny that you
So
say
right
that.
now I only teach privately and I do seminars. So
It's funny that you say that because you're not a special forces person or an operator yet. There are plenty of operators that want to train with you and have trained with you. So, um, I think that has a lot to say.
well, it's true, which is very, very gratifying.
Mm.
The only people that want to train with me are people like Dean.
I think, but I think that the thing is that Sunny's method was very difficult. It's not fun in a lot of ways because it basically works at the edge of your ability. So you're basically constantly failing, right? You're constantly not winning. And so ego wise, it doesn't feel very satisfying because for a while, it just all sucks for a long
Yeah,
time.
they're constantly
You are
failing, and
getting better because the level at which you can attain to is improving, but it's confusing. It's not full speed, but it's really chaotic. I mean, I think I said to you in our first talk that every time I left Sunny's for years, it felt like somebody put my fingers in an electric socket, and it felt like all my hair was like sticking out, and I'd kind of leave, and I'd be like, I have no idea what happened.
I
And I was
like
like,
that
I don't
though.
know what happened. I have no idea what happened.
I like
I
that
do too,
though.
but I think
Yeah, but it takes a
that's
special
who it
person. Yeah,
attracts. Yeah,
yeah, like gradual success through
to be like,
failure.
I don't understand it, I can't do it.
Mm.
Yeah, it was hard. I don't know what's going on. I have to go back to find out. It's like that. That's you have to be a real explorer with it
No,
and
you
stick
gotta
with
have
it because you're just like, how did he do that?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
endurance.
Why do I suck? Why
You
does
know
he
what I
know
mean?
that I'm everything I'm gonna do? You
Yeah.
know?
It's
Yeah.
endurance because you're failing and you're going back knowing that you're going to fail and that you're not really seeing growth spurts, even though he's telling you maybe, or maybe he's not telling you. I had an instructor like that. Haven't seen in a while because of COVID
Telling
and
you.
all that.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, but the gradual success was through the failures, and then he would illuminate. And one of his expressions to me was, "Look, if I showed you a picture of your kindergarten and I showed you a picture of your senior, you wouldn't be able to see the growth in between. But his point was being that I'm seeing it, you're not seeing it. You know what I mean? Not that that makes you feel any better because you're still failing, right? But it takes endurance, like that mental fortitude that you're going to go back, knowing you're going to fail. That's not
Yeah.
easy, right? Yeah.
So yeah. So the only metric of improvement at Sunny's was you're getting harder to hit. So that was it. At the first, you turn up and he can just hit you anytime he wants, right? So he's got to fix a problem. So he starts fixing the first problem. So you can deal with whatever the first blocks are, right, to sort of defend yourself. Okay, good. So once you've got those down, oh no, now you're falling for the fakes because you're always thinking that the block's going to come. All right, let's deal with how you deal with actually knowing when the strike is a strike and when it's a fake. Okay, fine. You get better at that. All right, now I've got to get sneaky. Are you thinking of your hand as a target still? No. You're keeping your hand nailed all the time. How do I protect my hand and block and watch for the fakes, right? So it stacks,
Yeah. No, I
right?
know. I
And
know.
so every time you solve a problem, the next problem appears. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you have this
Yep.
down, but the problem with this thing is this other thing that's going to come in. And that was the
But
way that the system
that's how
worked.
you create good martial artists, right? Like even like back when I was teaching full time, I would tell people they suck, and if they came back the next day, they sucked a little bit less. I would tell them, "You don't suck as much as you did last week," and it was like a motivation. Like I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I was just being realistic. You are getting beaten up because you're letting whatever idea of what you have of yourself get the better of you.
Mm.
When I used to go, even when I went to Montreal to train with Philip Jelna, I was scared. I was scared to go inside because I knew it was going to be an ass kicking for 3 hours. I never went there saying I'm going to do good today. It's like, and I think that's really what shaped me as in my path as a martial artist or in training. Maybe that's why I get so angry at the crap that I see out there nowadays too, though, because everybody needs a
Well, I think
participation ribbon, right?
Well, I think that there's a lot of comfort to be had with feeling competent that you've gained something. Like there's a nice loop, especially very organized situation to the level. And now we're doing this material. Okay, you've graduated that. Now we're here, right? So it feels easier. This is a very self motivated, ego destroying way of learning that is just harder for most people to kind of equal, I suppose. It wasn't he was mean because he did give you suggestions how to get better. And he also videoed every session, so your job was to take the video home and watch it. But for the
Oh,
first few years, you didn't know what you were looking at. It was just like, oh gosh, I look awful, right? That's all you saw. You're just like, ah. Then after a while, you start losing that subjectivity and become a bit more objective and go, oh well, no wonder he can always see, well, I'm going to enter because I always do this thing. And then now suddenly you've got a big step up in your learning because you're like, look at that, I always twitch before I do that thing, or I'm
mm,
starting to hold my breath when that happens. All right, next time I go, I have to remember just to step out, step out, step out when that happens, right? So then you become engaged in that process and trying like consciously to change things, in this chaotic environment. And then that's when your trajectory kind of improves.
how fascinating. I mean,
But yeah, the video theory is what I have to say.
no,
Yeah.
it sounds like he was an incredible instructor. I mean, giving you videos, also the layering of attribute development. Like, okay, I'm going to get you a single directs now. Oh, you're doing better. Well, here come the fakes. And, you know what I mean? Here come the engaños. Now you need to decipher, is this going to be a truly intended single direct, or I'm going to deviate from that line? I think that's fascinating. What do you see today? Like, and not to, obviously identifying any particular system, people, or whatsoever, but Do you feel like, in other words, what you're describing now, I love. Like, I don't mind failing, knowing that there's going to be gradual success. Like, I like that actually, because to me, I feel like I really accomplished something as opposed to, okay, I memorized this drill, I was tested on it, I passed, okay, I went to the next level. Like some people, I'm not saying that shouldn't be gratifying to some people, but it's not for me. In there, but it seems like the community is going in this direction of memorization, recitation, all that. I don't see a lot of people. I do with my guys what you're talking about because I love it and I think it's fascinating. Would you agree with me? Like the way things are being taught, the way things are being handed down based on promotion, etc. I don't see a lot of people doing what you're describing.
Um, my way is kind of Sonny's way. I've tried to keep as true to it as it was with him, right? And his way is very garage style, backyard style, old style Filipino. He,
Mm,
he didn't rely on pain in the same way as they did back in the day, right? To actually really like hurt your students, but very similar way. I think it's hard today because I don't know how many people actually really want to learn and how many people just want to look good
that's
or
what I
feel good,
mean.
which is two separate
Exactly.
parts. It's a little bit like fitness industry. I remember the gym I used to go to. They had a really good like boot camp class, but the biggest signs in the window said, um, "Make your ex jealous and look fit." And I'm like, "Look fit? How about be fit?" Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference
Instead of looking
between
fit, be yeah, yeah.
understanding it and looking like you might be. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like, they're not the same
I
motivation.
totally know what you
And
mean.
I
Yeah,
think it's hard to find people that want to
yeah,
put in
Brian.
the time because the time you have to spend the time. Like, I don't think there's a hack. There's no shortcut.
No, there's no cliff
It's
note.
the time that
Yeah,
makes the difference.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. And I think
But I will
today,
say,
what's that?
oh, okay, yeah. So the last thing I was going to say is, but my way's going to die. All those schools are going to stay successful and keep
No,
attracting
no,
people.
you're absolutely right, and it's sad. Like, no, we're the minority. We're going to
Yeah.
be phased out because people don't want to put that
Hmm.
type of training in, that kind of dedication, and the people who are doing it are going to become less and less who really like to teach that way, and that's becoming fewer and fewer. The students will become fewer and fewer. So I totally agree with you in everything you're saying. It is going to phase out, which is so sad.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Dean. I think we've already been phased out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we're dinosaurs in a lot of ways. Yeah.
no,
it,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
I'll bring it into my circle and stuff. It's like people want to fight, but they don't want to fight, but they want to have the cool pictures of them fighting without getting hurt. And oh, you're too extreme. We don't have to go that extreme. It's like, well, that's why we did it, to make sure that we do works. Well, you don't have to. So then they get a lot of like-minded, don't have to people who think the same way. They open up a school, and then it's like, you don't want to train with that guy. That guy is a psychopath or whatever, and it just eliminate. Hopefully, it's cyclical, and then in 20 years from now, there'll be some guy going, "Hey, shouldn't we really hit each other?"
No, I
It's
don't
Well,
disagree with you. No.
where did this actually come from? Shouldn't is this a real knife or is this a fake knife? It's like most people just don't care anymore. They want
I know.
the cool T-shirt.
They want the
they
quick
don't
fix
want the
too.
thing. They want the picture of the thing. They want to be the picture of the thing. They don't want to be the
Yes,
thing.
yes,
Because,
yes.
like you were talking about, Renee, about all the,
Oh yeah,
all this kind of
yeah. I mean,
thing. It's like,
it's that
if I watched, well, when I used to spar with Sonny, he would do that, but for a reason. And he did it because there was a reason to do it. He was using it. He was not doing it because he'd somebody else do it and it was what you did. Does that make sense? It's like
100%. No,
you understand when somebody understands why they're doing what they're doing as opposed to they don't understand
the
why.
people, like
And there's a
and
difference, but people just see the picture.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say this. Like for example, a guy like Phil Jonah, when I first met him, like he was doing all these, like he'd have his hands on certain positions, and I was like, what is this guy doing? Like I was actually getting annoyed by watching it, then I realized there was part of his chambers and part of his blocks and all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. He's not doing the ham bone, like
Hmm.
the doing the washboard thing. Um, so the movement made sense. Um, and those are the people that I wanted to learn
Yes.
from. But a lot of people just don't get it anymore. Like I don't know.
It doesn't sell. It doesn't make money. So if you have to pay the bills, put the lights on, you're relying on this as income, you are not going to be doing what we're talking about. There's no
Nope.
way because it doesn't pay, you know what I mean? Whereas me, like I don't rely on this for money. So hey, I'm very upfront with people. My students will tell you, Brian and Rich and Hera watching. This is what I give. This is what I offer. You either like my cup of water or you don't. Like, but I'm not going to change what I do. I'm not going to change how I teach. I'm not going to change my value system. And there, you know what I mean?
But
I've gone the
yeah,
other way
yeah.
where I literally nowadays I if people like I'm starting to teach again, but I'm very reluctant on who I let in. And it literally it's going to be like it was before I left the other school. It's like I'm going to train you, but the second I get that whiff of nonsense, boom, you're gone. Like I'm paying the rent in this place, like this is my house and it's going to be by my rules.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is still kind of real fighting in that there's a big MMA and BJJ kind of scene, right?
100%.
So technically, that is taken care of. So then I have a question for you guys, which is, I train swords, which seems very esoteric and very unuseful. But I found it incredibly enlightening because it's basically taught me about people. Like if you read any of my books, it's all psychology. It's all about
Mhm.
people, right?
Thank you,
Like
Sharon.
you can't have an enemy unless there's a human being in front of you, right? It's like there's
Mm.
always someone else in the martial art. And so it's the relationship that's the interesting part. So what it's taught me a bunch of lessons outside of sword about people and interactions and relationships and why people do things, motivations, how to read people, how to, you know, make friends and influence people, right? It's all part of the same stuff. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think that your way of having trained how you do has given you that makes it worthy? Is it purely the martial understanding, or is it bigger than that?
Hmm. I think for me it was kind of a weird thing because I did like JKD and all these other different arts and everything else, and let's just say when I was younger, I was a bit more rebellious, and I wanted to learn application, and that's how I really got involved with Daw Brothers. And it wasn't as far until I became a Daw Brother and I was fighting on a regular basis that the drills that I was learning before started making sense. So I was learning how to fight and then taking that fight knowledge to these non-combative drills and realize what they actually meant. So that's something that I learned. Um, and there's to a certain degree I'm still learning. It's funny because when I started studying Kubik Bong, and I have a stick fighting mentality, and I'm giving these two swords, and I'm like going to town with these two swords, and my instructor in the background is going, "It's like that's not how you use a sword, right? You're gonna destroy it." Um, it gave me a new appreciation for the art side of it as well, I guess, right? And it's funny because at this point I teach people who don't want to fight, who are more into just learning the traditional or cultural side of it. I'll go that route. There's very few and far between, to be honest with you. Then the other side is the people who know me from whatever circles that I travel in and say, "Hey, I want to just get some more tools in my box. Can we do some scrapping?" And when you were saying, uh, having an enemy in front of you, for some reason, I have no shortage of that. Apparently,
I cannot believe that.
Invite them.
I don't even know I invite them. I just sometimes from here to here, there's no filter, and it just seems to upset people. So I don't know if that was a long-winded answer that
Mm.
answered it, but that's kind of how
Mhm.
I'll go to Dean now.
Yeah, to me,
Ta-da.
I was sick of the disconnect. Like, I actually left the community because I wasn't being fulfilled in what I was doing. And unfortunately, there was nobody immediately in my geographic area for a period of time that was fulfilling that. And plus, I did have a school, so that was 100% interfering. So I wanted to go back into it, but to go back, I had to sell my school. And once I did, I was in a better position to travel. And then I finally found what I was really wanted and looking for. It just took, unfortunately, a good chunk of years, but I'm glad I waited because, and I was sick of, I was sick of just being complacent. I was sick of just compromising my value systems, what I wanted, and there. So yeah, so my journey kind of went on a hiatus, but for a good for a good thing. But now I'm very happy because I've trained with people to get what I really want. I'm definitely more blade centric, particularly knife. Um, and now I'm able to give people that I wanted way back then, and I offer that to people now. But it's a very select group. I'm never going to have huge numbers, and I'm okay with that because I don't want to be a factory. I like that
But you
intimate.
still haven't.
What's that?
Yeah, you still haven't said what it is you actually wanted. What is it you
So
got?
what was the question? Maybe I misunderstood the question. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I was just sort of saying because you're like, I was finally got what I wanted because you went searching and then you got what you wanted, and I was just
Yeah.
wondering
Oh
what that
yeah.
was
Which
that you
is. Oh
got.
yeah. Which was like absolute combative truth with edge weapons. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Like,
very good.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
good.
yeah. I'm sorry. It's like, but yeah, yeah.
I found it.
It's funny because it was similar for me as well. Like when I decided I was gonna walk away from martial arts, and literally it was one night just sitting in front of my laptop with with a bottle of whiskey and just like I'm like, Daw Brothers, I haven't seen those guys in a while. And then it's just like, man, I never did that. And the next thing I know, I'm calling Mark Denny. It's like, hey, I'm coming to California. Um, I think that's what it is. I think there's something, even though I walk away from it, there's always something that sparks it's the moth to the flame. There's something I'm still searching for, or something that I still want to accomplish.
So, do you think again that the commonality might be seeking some sort of truth or
Absolutely.
understanding?
Oh yeah,
Do you
hundred
think that
percent.
that could
For
be
for
said?
me,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's with no doubt. Whenever especially when I was younger, as soon as I heard well, younger, when in my early career in the Daw Brothers, whenever I found out somebody had something that might work, I went looking for that person. Like in a good way, not in not in a there's Bill here.
Creep up on them.
I would search him out because I was dealing with some really heavy caliber fighters, so people who would throw me and I'm not tall. I'm not a small person, but I'm 5'8", 240 pounds. Like, and these guys are ragdolling me, and I was like, "There's something I really hate about this," and so I had to. I got to learn something,
Yeah.
and then it's funny. Then I started changing my weight from gathering to gathering. My first gathering was 175. My second gathering was 230. And then I was like playing with my weight, and around 200 is where I feel where I can still hit really hard and have enough gas to last, the amount of time that I need to last. So again, that's my own truth. That's what I need to work out. So,
Yeah.
and never
Cool.
invite
Thanks.
Dean into your basement because he'll attack you and hurt you. That's another thing I learned.
Lies, all lies. Don't believe
Not
them
now,
lies.
Cato.
Yeah, not now, Kato. So I'm just fast. You made it. This we're going back probably like a half hour ago, but you made this statement like you're going to run at angles that some used to tell you, and I find that profound. And can you expand on that? Like when you're moving around with them, and you're saying you can't overthink. Like okay, well, my foot's here, my right's there. You know what I mean? You can't overthink it, but I do like what he was telling you. Like you're going to run out of angles. Like what do you really mean? I guess by that, and the influence on you.
So running out of angle means, all right. Tactically speaking, if I can get you so you only have one choice of what you can do next, as in you're just about to fall over, which means you have to put your foot back, or
Mm.
you know, it's only one thing that can come out, or whatever it is, that you've got one choice. I know what you're going to do next, which means I can beat you. That's what he called of running out of angle. So if I don't want to run out of angle, I always need at least two choices of what I do next, which means my feet have to be underneath me, and I can't only have one option that is the only thing that I can do. Right?
Interesting. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like if Sonny's whole philosophy about fighting was, if I know what you're going to do next, I can beat you because I'm already there. So a lot of people hear that as like, I predict. It's no, I make you. I put you somewhere that you only have one thing that you can do, and then I know exactly where you're going to be, and I can get there ahead of you.
Wow. So when it made, would I say like the saying that was given to me by, and it's so parallel to what you're saying, just different verbiage. I'm going to put you either going to put yourself at a center. I'm going to put you at a center. Meaning that you're going to be displaced, or like you said, out of options or one options, but your center mass is going to be exposed. Is that kind of parallel what he was referring to you?
Um, yeah, but not quite as literal in that, like, sword is weird, right? Because I don't need any power. So the center
He
mass
was
is not
he
as
was talking about,
important,
yeah, an edge, yeah, the same, yeah,
right? It's like the longer your weapon, the weirder things the center line does,
yeah.
right? And so, but it's the sort of idea that it can be psychologically trapped.
No, no, the
It can
mental
be
pressure, like,
physically trapped and spatially trapped and timing trapped.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you can be trapped in a lot of different ways. That you have to. I've gone so far back in the corner, and because for some reason I don't have the side to side, my only option is to whatever, right? So
Mm.
I want to narrow down their options, and then I'll know what they're going to do next. You can do it in other ways where you set somebody up, right? That they're not necessarily running out of angle. So that's a different concept from setting somebody up, because a setup can be an open-ended thing. You just know what they're going to do next because you set them up. But running out of angle is something specific where
Yeah, yeah,
they've
no,
only got one thing.
yeah,
You know,
reducing.
it's a lot of throwing arts do it, right? Where I'll push you back with your center. So
Mm.
if you don't want to fall, that foot has to go
Yes, yeah, okay,
behind you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? So that would be kind of like the equivalent.
No, I think it's fascinating. It just sounds like he was, yeah, like that's something I would have really enjoyed him. I just love.
Yeah. So what you'll notice if you watch videos of people in his little tiny living, which was really excellent, very small space, right, that we trained in. The camera was set up sort of kitty corner to. There's two couches on two sides of the room, and then there's a seat, like a fan on the floor in the corner. That was the corner that he would try and back you up into to run out of angle, and then he'd catch it in full glory on the camera
I
when you're
want
just
to
like,
just show you like what you did wrong. Okay.
yeah. So if you got unbalanced, you'd fall on the couch, and that was more
Oh,
like what
okay,
propelled you
okay,
to the way. Or
okay.
you'd kick the fan over, right? Like because you weren't aware enough that you were getting back into a corner, right?
So
That
one or the other
was
was happening.
one of the ways that he did it. Yeah. So if you notice, he's always trying to corner people into that corner. If you watch his videos.
Mm. I do remember seeing them. I don't. Yeah, I remember seeing the room layout just from videos. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
remember the coach. Yeah.
He was also used to do a lot of carving, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was a craftsman. He was an artist. He was a musician too. He made all his old training weapons. Like he physically made this, and this is
Wow.
made out of a stolen stop sign, um,
Wow.
bits of leather and plastic, shrink wrap, grip tape, and super glue and sawdust.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Did you guys have like classes where you did any carving and stuff like that as well, or no? Was it just
No,
basically
not
more fun?
really. I mean, I never asked. I mean, he might have done that with other people. I went there. I was very,
Yeah, yeah.
trained would leave. You know,
Mm.
it's just like, I'm a painter, but I don't. I'm not. One of these people. So it probably didn't cross over for me.
Something I want to add, like we were talking about the very quick test run we did yesterday that we didn't do live. Teaching when you're getting older and how you have to adapt, I guess, pending your audience of what you were able to do 20 years ago and using just 20 years as an example. Um, So not, I guess, not just from a teaching lens, but also, I guess, from a functional, I mean, just a movement, sparring lens, moving around with younger folks and all that. Like, how do you, like, you brought it up and I thought it was fascinating. So I'd like to get your just the thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, this year's the 20th anniversary of Sonny's death, like we talked about. So it got me thinking about it. I'm now almost 5 years older than he was when he died. Like, I'm old now. And I don't have that much more time. You know, I could teach sword. It's one of those weird arts. It's not like it's not as athletic as a lot of empty hand arts, right? You can do sword until you die, basically. Like there's still something that you can work with. So um, I don't think I'll ever stop being able to do it. But I can do it. My range of motion, my flexibility, my speed, they've all changed. Like 20 years ago, my low stances look very different to how they look today because my knees are how they are. I've got really bad arthritis in my thumbs. You know what I mean? Like everything sort of wears down. And it got me thinking about Sonny's death because it was like Mark Denny came to interview Sonny a month before he died because nobody thought he was going to die. Do you know what I mean? Like he wasn't, he was in his late 50s. He was like 58 when he died,
Mm,
right? Everybody thinks everybody's going to live forever. Oh, I'll have time. It's like there's not enough, there isn't time.
no.
And as the time ticks on, you know, how I teach is not the same as how I taught. I'm smarter, I'm more treacherous, right? This game is better. Like I'm more subtle, I'm more refined. But
Mm,
a lot of the things I can't demonstrate the same way that I used to just because I'm tired now. That's just the way it goes. So the information's still there. But I don't think people realize how quickly time goes by in a lot of ways. And it's one of the things I've thought about. It's like, when do I retire? Like, how long do I want to do this for? Is it worth it? I don't know. It's a teaching question and it's a student question, right? So are you learning from somebody really ancient, like Leo Gohe, I'm sure was taught very differently over the years. Illustrissimo too, right? I mean, people crossed over him at different eras in his
oh my God.
teaching path,
They call
right?
them
I
his
don't say
twilight
that he didn't have
years.
anything to teach as a 90-year-old. I bet he was really old and treacherous, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But his ability to move is not the same as when he was a 50 or 60-year-old
No,
guy.
no.
So
Yeah.
you've got to start thinking about that too. And it's like, I don't want to teach people how to move like old people, you know. It's like,
Yeah, I think it's
teaching somebody
something.
something year old or a 2-year old, it's like, don't do what I do this,
Yeah,
use this
yeah.
stuff.
No, I think it's a great conversation though, just because, like you said, we're all getting older. So,
I'm not.
well, you being an
No,
exception, of
no,
course.
definitely not.
But yeah, I mean, I just kind of don't think about my age and pretend I'm still 20 years younger. Because
I,
I think
I
if
will.
I think
I
about it,
agree with my
yeah.
100%. The one thing that I've noticed as I got older, and especially when it came to fighting, is I became a lot meaner. Um, just because I didn't want to be in
Yeah.
it, and you just want to end that crap real quick.
You
But
become much
yeah,
more efficient. Yes. Yeah.
well, you know what? What it kind of threw me off not too long ago, I was like standing beside a retaining wall. It's about 2+ feet up, and I didn't even think about it. I just literally just like box jumped it and I went on top of it, and I was like, I haven't done that in a long time. It kind of threw me off, and I was like, okay, like it's not over. It's just I got to get it out of this first, right? Because sometimes I find, as soon as you
Hmm.
start putting the I am this and I am that, it starts to play with your head. Like I hope I hope that like I know that Philip fought way into his late 60s. If I'm lucky enough, I'll do the same thing. Like, so I made a deal with some of the guys in Europe that I know that will fight every second gathering, where it's like we're going to leapfrog because that way we can let our bodies heal a little bit. Um, I'm still waiting to make sure that I can continue fighting, especially after the last accident I had. But if I get the green light, I'm definitely that's the first thing I'll do is start getting myself ready for a gathering and take Dean with me.
Who?
Yeah. I mean, yours is, yeah. I mean, you've got to definitely get some fitness for that, right? So you don't gas out. There's definitely sort of stages to that. But I think it's funny, there's all these old stories about Aisha getting on the mat, like he came on as a decrepit old man and then he does Aikido and he's just like, oh my God, then he gets off again and he's a decrepit old man. Like, I do think there's something that I bet you get, you start to fight at the gathering and you'll become young again. It's just you pay later. It's like
Oh
when
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
teaching, I don't,
uh,
it kind of clicks in, right? You
let's
just
just say
pay
that the
later.
taxes are pretty heavy on that one.
Yeah, right. So,
But it's funny because
the muscle memory's there.
I remember when first time I hosted Guru Dan in Toronto, and he got out of the car and he's like, oh, like moving a little slow. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh God, what's gonna happen, right? Because you're seeing this guy kind of crawl under the car, and then he gets on the mats and he's just like an animal, and I was like, that's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's,
that's
I
awesome.
don't know how much Advil
Yeah.
it takes for that
Yeah,
later
not
on,
for the next day, but that's awesome.
but that's awesome. And if I can do that, and
Yeah.
and have that 1 or 2 hours of pure energy coming out like that, then I think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to ask is because it's a little bit related to what we talked about earlier. It's like we're the last generation to teach like this. I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's cyclic and it'll go back, after
I
going to be,
think
being the picture of the thing, it'll go
we,
back to the real thing. But
we might be the last generation to teach like this, or maybe some of the last, but I think there's always going to be that 10%, or let's just say 5% of people out there. They're going to look at people saying, I need this to be boiled down and make it sense. It has to make sense. And I heard about somebody, you know, who lives down the street. Like even with Arlen, like when I went to go train with Arlen, he was pretty much retired from stick fighting. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done." And then we met and we started training. And a year later, we fought at an event, and he knocked me out. and and I thought it was like the most beautiful thing in the world. Like I was just like, here's a guy who was just like, yeah, I'm done or whatever. And it's just like he wasn't done. It just he needed someone who just gently, get that fire going again. And I
Mm.
think that's what's going to happen. I think it's, even like, not that it's ever happened with Eric Knaus, like that dude he's just a fighting machine. He just has it in him. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but there's a few people out there that high skill, and they're just kind of like, I think they're like us, kind of disenfranchised, or like a little jaded from the martial arts community, and then all it takes is for one person to like do one of these things, right? And they'll step back out. So if we're
Mm.
lucky, I think it will happen, and I think as long as there's conversations like this, it will happen. Like if we didn't have a conversation like this, nobody would know, nobody care. They'd be like, ah,
Nobody'd
whatever.
care. Yeah. But
It's-
it's like we're the generation that Sonny came from the Philippines with knowledge. I mean, he grew up post World War II, Cebu, right, which was a very difficult, violent time. The guy that taught him had lived through the war. You know, they're all dodgy as fuck, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it was meaningful there, right? And Sonny brought that meaning here, and I don't sword fight, for a living. I'm not an enforcer for somebody that's,
mm.
right. So, but I have the flavor of it because I got the direct thing from him, but I don't know where it's going to go after that. I think it might disappear. We'll see until
I think
somebody
it's
else needs it again, right?
I think it's
Less
definitely a
and less needs
generational
it.
thing. Like, listen, like my parents, born in the 30s and 40s. Some of the stories that they tell me, like, it was just a different breed of people.
Yeah. Well,
It's
the
just,
circumstances. Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Mm.
like my mom told me, we grew up with servants, and then a few years later, we're eating out of trash cans.
Hmm.
It's just, it's survival. Everybody had a, you know, a s everybody had a hustle, and
Yeah.
you had to be strong, like emotionally strong. Like definitely, they were not the lovey-dovey. Oh, you scraped your knee. Let me get you a band-aid. They're like, oh, you fell. Why didn't you grab me the thing that you? I told you to go get a bushel of firewood. I don't care about your
Yeah.
knees. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I hate to say it, but I think people are. a bit softer now. There's some things which are not bad, but definitely I see it in the trades. I've been in the trades my entire life, and man, if I had some of the kids that I see on the sites now go when I first started, they'd be in
They wouldn't
therapy.
last a day. Yeah, I know, right?
Mm. It's across the board, unfortunately. It's not, I
Well,
think
though,
it,
I'm sure this new generation has good things too that we didn't have. So,
and
I have full faith in people's abilities to adapt to the moment in need, right? There might be a bit of catching up to do, but I think,
catching up to do.
the,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Well, they have AI,
but the inherent
and I've embraced that. I think it's really awesome.
AI will help them.
well, all of us in the physical trades, they can't take that. Nobody's going to be. You're not going to get AI repair.
That's true.
You're just not.
True.
So you and I are safe in that job, Renee. So that's
You
good.
know, it's funny. Like I'm super in this job, and I was talking about this company I worked at where I was a PM, and every second week they were coming up with a new protocol that AI had made, and I was like, guys, you realize that within a year, we're not going to be here anymore. Like I was like, maybe I will go back and be a site guy. Plus there's a huge shortage of tradespeople, especially in Canada.
That's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, we have strayed, I know, far away from the martial arts, but have we?
No,
I'm not
it's all
sure.
been good though. I mean, so here's something. I mean, because just not keep you forever, but like, what do you? So, what are your future goals? I know you're holding off on any future books because, far as how you explain that and your rationale for that, but far as training or propagating what you're like, what are your future goals in that regard?
I don't really have any. I have a group in Switzerland, already 14, so I'm going to be there next month training, doing a seminar, 2-day seminar. If anybody wants to come to Lausanne, it's on the 11th, 12th. I'm sure if you get a message to me, I'll put you in touch with the guy that's hosting it. So I'll keep training them. I have 2 good private students here and a couple of other people, but 2 serious guys that really want the material. So I'll keep going whilst, the students will keep me teaching. I'll keep doing Bagua because it's my early morning meditation. It's just down the road from me and I teach it twice a week. So that's going to keep going. But I don't think I have any plans. I keep thinking, there's no interest. I'll just stop. I don't need to do this anymore. And while the students still want it, then I'll keep teaching. But, one day I'll probably be like, you know, I'm sure my skills are fading because I don't play enough, right? And so I'm like, do I have anything to teach? I don't know. So I'm in a phase where I don't really know what's going to happen next. So we'll see. I guess that's where I'm going to leave it. People say you should write a fiction book, but yeah, I don't know
What
if
about?
that's a
Do you
possibility.
see Jay and Greg? I mean, do you see them often enough to play with them, or is there a
Yeah,
distance
yeah,
factor there?
yeah, we occasionally do, but everybody's got their own lives, so it's really hard, like, to
Hmm.
organize. Even though we live in the same frickin' city, right? It's hard for all of us to be in the
Oh,
same
you
place
guys
at the
are
same
all in
time.
Oakland. Okay.
Yeah, we're all in
Okay.
Auckland. Yes, we are. So we do see each other. We all like each other. We all get on. Um, we don't play with each other as much as we probably should because we've all got our own projects going on. I'm really happy that Greg has got much more organized with his teaching. Him and Jay will be teaching this coming weekend in San Francisco, doing a joint 2-day seminar. So
Okay.
everybody should go train with them if they are in the area. They're both awesome. And Jay's got a couple groups around the country that have him back. So there's enough groups, but it's again, Sunny System's weird. It's not a toolbox of like stuff. It's a method. It's a way. It's time that you have to
Mm.
spend doing this stuff. And
What about like
so
Zoom seminars and stuff like that? Have you ever thought about that?
no, it's terrible. You can't do
Yeah.
it. I can't. I need. Sunny System is all reactive. Like if I'm teaching
Mm.
you to fake, you only know if you're successful because it works. I
Hmm.
can't teach you to do it by yourself. I can't teach you by pretending that you made it work, right? You're only going to know because you tried it
Mm.
and you failed, tried it and it worked, right? It's an experiential system. Like if I don't buy your fake, you haven't faked me. Like I got to
Mm.
buy it for it to be a success, right? Which means you have to have somebody else to
Yeah, you
to
have to
work those skills.
attribute development. You got to have like a partner there. Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
working on my fakes actually.
Have you?
You
Check this one
have?
out. I think Dean's a great person.
There you go. I'm sure he believes
See?
you. What's that?
Yeah.
But yes, so so Zoom is. I find it incredibly frustrating. I do have Zoom too. I have a Patreon, which I have some wonderful Patreon members who support me there. And at the higher level, you get a session with me, a Zoom session with me, every month. So it really works for people that have very self-motivated, who already trained style, so they have friends to play with. And then
Mm.
they could take some of this material. I'm like, try this. And then they'll go and play with, their people and see if they can pull the stuff off, right? So that's how it works best. But you have to be very, very self-motivated, and you at least that you can work with this stuff. Otherwise, it's almost impossible. It's like me trying to teach you how to generate power from a distance. It's like, hit the bag, put your foot here, turn the hip. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Oh, hey, Bobby.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes,
Bobby said,
you got to
sell
learn
a
how to
lie.
sell. You got to sell the real thing before you can
Sell
sell
a
the lie.
lie.
It's a quote from my book where I said you got to learn to sell the real thing before you can sell a lie.
Before you can sell. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So would that be equivalent? Like they need to
Yeah,
respect
because
your
it's like if you
single.
don't know what something real looks like. Yeah, because if you can't sell something real, if you can't make them block something that's really coming, you don't
Yeah.
know how to use it as a fake, do you?
No,
A
no.
lot of people fake, and they're kind of like doing this weird, like, they'll do this sort of strange thing with their faces, and you're just like, what are you doing? I'm faking
Yeah.
you. You're like, no, you're really not.
Yeah, they have to believe in your single. In my opinion, for myself, they have to believe in your single direct. Because if they don't believe in that, how are they gonna believe in your fake? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and then you have the question of how do you look like you're going to throw it, but don't actually throw it,
mm,
right? So you could change it to something else. It's tricky. There's a lot of like subtleties in how you make something look like something, but turn it into something else, without them noticing that you changed it.
yeah.
Again, not
Yeah, you got to
joking.
have real good body control.
Dean's actually really good at fakes. We're doing some stuff in my basement, playing with some sticks, and he was actually very good at it.
I wonder if he's lying. No.
He made
And
me
Renee,
think he made me think I was his
You can't
friend as
tell, can
well.
you?
then for that he headbutted me in the chest.
It was an accident.
If all else fails, impale the other guy.
Headbutts and elbows.
Always your friends. Always your friend.
They're my friends.
Mm.
I don't have a lot of them. I can headbutts and elbows. I
Yeah.
got two of my friends. Knees as well, but depends on how tired I am.
But yeah,
Um,
teaching one on one, it's like learning how to dance. Like teach with somebody that can dance.
mm.
Learn with somebody, like dance with a dancer, and you'll learn a lot faster than two people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, as opposed, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I was actually just listening to this podcast where it was a BJJ brown belt that went to a school where all their blue belts are like heavy competitors, and all the blue belts were killing him. And it was like it just makes sense, right? If you want to compete, if you want to be good, you got to go against people who are competing on a regular basis.
Yeah. You have to look at what real fighters do, and then you'll have, work out how to work around that, right? If nobody's giving you real threats, what you're doing, it's like you can't pretend something that's not real. I mean, you can, like, I can, I can create situations to make you do things because I have my skills, right? So that's why it's good to learn with me, because you'll understand better, and I can tell you if you look like a dork or whether it was a good fake.
It's awesome.
And you'll know it's a good fake because you'll hit me, right? I mean, that's it. It's like
Mm.
there's no pretending. Like it works or it doesn't. But most people don't know what they look like, right? Nobody has a sense of what they look like and what the other person's seeing when they look at them. You might think you're looking all sly or looking dangerous, or you're looking like you really, hit that number one. But do you really? Are you sure that's what they see? Because maybe they don't see what you're trying to sell. You know. So there's a lot of introspection. There's a lot of acting skills involved in it. There's a lot of stuff that comes together to when it really matters, like it with swords. It doesn't matter so much if you could take a few hits, right? But doing something lethal like with swords, it matters. Like firearms, right? Cover and concealment. Cover was cover. How do you know? It's because when they shoot at you, it doesn't hit you, right? It's
You're
just
not
like
dead.
it's very
Yeah.
simple. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's I have that infamous story of me at the range with people. The computer programmer was telling me how much of a badass he's hitting targets. And, and I was literally practicing a drill that one of my friends, who's an SF person, was teaching me, and it just like they were just like, "Oh, if you really want to know how to shoot," and they're telling me all their cool stuff, and I was like, "I'm just practicing to keep everything on a pie plate." I'm not. I don't care how cool you look with your $3,000 gun and all that. I just want to go through this. But, anyways, that's another story. There's lots of swearing involved.
It never gets old, though.
I,
That one never gets old.
I'm all about making friends.
You need a
Wow.
T-shirt.
A few of them.
Yeah, I think my wife has said that before. She come with some sort of warning label when I'm walking around.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Approach with
Jesus.
caution. She's a saint.
A few t-shirts.
I could have a whole new wardrobe.
Uh,
Friends,
I
but
just want to point out that lovely comment: "A sword fighter's two liars having a conversation." I thought that was a really
Eric,
good
yeah,
quote. Thank you,
yeah,
Eric.
yeah. I'm impressed that Eric said that. Um,
well,
yeah.
it just means that he's learned how to use the copy and paste tool.
Or that, or yeah, but still though, that still constitutes being resourceful on his part. So, yes, Eric,
And I don't know if you noticed, Dean. This is the 2 weeks in a row that I swore maybe twice.
we are definitely making improvement. Yes, I mean, I'm slowly having my effect on you.
I heard Maya swear, and I was about to jump in there with a bunch of swearing, and
And
I was like,
but you held yourself
yeah,
restrained. See, I mean, well, I'm telling you,
I'm growing up, man. I'm growing up in front of your eyes.
2 months from now, man, you're gonna be a freaking choir boy. You know.
Again? See, I
Sorry,
almost made a
Maya,
bad joke, but I
sorry,
can't.
Maya, that you had to be subjected to this. I'm sorry.
So you're off to Switzerland in a couple weeks, right?
That's right. Yes.
Well, oh, what's going on there?
Seminar. She just said it.
Well,
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
teaching a 2-day seminar. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that
I
was a. I'm
yeah. I
sorry. I thought
think
that was a couple woman.
this. Yeah. No. There's I think we're going to focus. We're going to do some Sikaran, which is some of the Visayan style footwork. We're going to focus on Boxai, which is the two-handed use of the cane, and we're going to do Sango, which is the harvesting, the sickle work.
Oh, how neat.
So that's a very
Okay.
unusual part of our system. Yeah. So I don't show that often.
Oh, that's
So
okay. I'm
that's what I'm
sorry. I
going to do.
misunderstood.
Try and lure people to the seminar.
I thought that was local. I didn't realize it was in Switzerland. Okay,
Yeah, it's in Switzerland.
awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta, guys. I gotta because I have to go get one of the kids. But yeah, I thank you for coming on. This was awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. Our time with us. Was Renee? Did he pass the grade for you? Was
No,
Renee?
he didn't ask. I thought he was going to ask some really difficult questions and get me into real trouble, but he didn't. So I don't know. I think
Oh
he was on
well,
really good behavior.
we can bring you back on, and he can ask some of those questions.
What he really wants to ask.
So,
What did
but
Bruce Lee have for breakfast?
yes.
Um,
I have no fucking idea.
What do you think
Cup of
Bruce Lee
coffee
was
and a
going?
cigarette.
If
yes.
Bruce Lee were alive today, what do you think he'd be doing? Would he be doing MMA? Would he? Oh, jeez. Oh man, but yeah, but thank you for
Ciao.
coming on. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I appreciate you coming on, and Renee,
Yeah.
you,
Thanks for the
you,
invite. I
So
appreciate it
wait,
too.
before you go, do you want to
Anytime.
give people some info on how they can get a hold of you?
Or in the
Um,
books. Yeah.
yeah, well, the books are on Amazon. Just
Okay.
that's the first one. That's how they spell my name. And there's 3 books. You get them on Kindle or paperback. There's also a videos. This first book's all drills. Well, it's story, but then there's a bunch of part of practice drills in here. There's a set of videos that goes with this that you just have to message me and find out about. Um, this one's more kind of psychological stuff, and this one's the highest level third flow book, the third game. That's very kind of, I don't know. It's a bit more esoteric. So anyway, 3 books: physical, psychological, weird.
Do the
Um,
colors mean anything, or am I just reading into too much?
no, they don't mean anything. I thought they
Yeah,
looked
see
kind
what
of
I mean?
cool. Yeah. And Patreon /Art of Deception. That is me. There's 2 levels of membership. One where you just get to read all my, ramblings. I write a couple posts a week, and then if you join at the higher level, you get like a 45-minute Zoom session with me every month to work on your training if you want to do that. And yeah, so that's it. I get a lot of friend requests on Instagram and Facebook, but honestly, if I don't know you, I'm just going to ignore you. Sorry. If we've met at a seminar, then yes. If you actually sent me a message about why we should be friends, I might consider it. But most people don't. So I don't really separate out. It's what things I have. For dinner and what I find interesting. It's not that fascinating. Like, don't follow me for the secrets. It's not on social media. You can only get those by training in person.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you.
And Dean, you're still available through your Instagram and OnlyFans, right?
Currently, yes. Yeah.
That's okay.
How about you, Renee? What's your social media presence?
I,
In
I
jail, not
I'm
on.
in I'm in Facebook jail for using the word cocaine, and I still manage the Toro Clan page, which is resurrecting soon into another class.
Oh, right on. Well, cool. I will follow your
Yeah.
Yeah,
resurrection.
I got I've been watching some of the old Kane videos, and I want to kind of redo some of them a bit more on the you know a bit more resistance. I think the ones I was doing were just a bit too passive. So
Tom.
yes,
All right.
cool.
Okay, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Maya.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to chat. And I guess see you on the internet and the ether.
And
Yeah,
the
we'll do it
internet.
again.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
sure.
Talk to you later.
Anytime.
All right.
Bye.
All right. But that was awesome. Thank you again for getting hold of her. I thought that went really well. He approves the message. Yes. Yes.
I
He
gotta.
approves. He
Yeah, well,
always
no.
approves. So
Franco, and I endorse this message.
endorse, approve, all the above. Yes, absolutely.
Can everybody please take
I am
this
Dean Franco, and I endorse this message.
and just post it everywhere for me? I would
Yeah.
really like that.
If you need Renee will be more than happy to
I will
send
send you a
you.
copy. It's the best thing in the world. I love
Can't take this
it.
abuse any much longer.
Wait till you see my Jeet Kune Do one.
Oh, please send it.
Yes.
Please send it. Awesome. All right, I'll be in touch.
All right. Take it easy.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes, I don't get paid enough. The co-host was Renee. All right, who's next? You know what? I honestly don't know. There'll be somebody. I just don't know who yet. But anyway, as always, I'll be posting that for any discussion, featured pinned in there. So, yeah. But thank you for those who watched, and I will see you next time. Take care, all.